So fundamentally, you have to know what you want to buy. Unless you're trying to just buy a random bargain, flip it, and then sell it on eBay. If it's something you actually want, something you actually need, you have to know what you want. And by that I mean not just I want a specific book. It's I want a specific edition of a book with a specific cover in a specific condition. You're absolutely clear about what you want, because you're going to have the ability to, when you're scrolling through listings on eBay, that you can spot from an image. It might not be mentioned in the title, it might not be mentioned in the description, it might just be there in the image, and you have to be able to spot it, which means you have to know what it is. You have to be able to spot whether there are fraudulent versions of it, whether there's counterfeit versions, and you need to be able to spot the absolute accurate one, which means you need to do some research in advance so you understand what it is. And part of that research is going to involve you knowing what is the cheapest retail price that you can expect to pay for it. If it's a second-hand book, you go onto Abe Books and you look and see how much people are selling it for. You use the history in eBay to see how much it goes for. You look on Amazon and see how much it is currently listed for. You use other sources to build a profile of how much it is actually worth in the real world. Price guides for comics, all these kind of things are online. You have to do the research. But also you have to decide how soon do you actually need it. Because if you're looking for bargains, patience will help you. The longer you are prepared to wait, the more likely something is going to come up within your criteria. When I'm looking for certain books, I have searches on Camel, which alert me for certain price points. And I'm going to cover all these sites later on. Camel, Abe Books. We're going to look at how these things work in conjunction with eBay to help us. But the point is, we have to know what it is. And if you're prepared to wait, because sometimes you get lucky, right? Sometimes you go, I really want to buy this thing. You'll go onto eBay, you'll do a search, and it'll be there. And it'll be a relatively cheap price. And you don't know whether it's actually worth that money or not, because you haven't done the research. So off you go, do the research. Sometimes you go off to the research, come back, and it was a bargain and someone bought it. So I recommend you do the research first so you're not too disappointed, because eBay isn't the only place you can buy things. So if it's gone on eBay, you might find it somewhere else if you do the research. Keep a list of what you want to buy. But even more fundamental, you have to know how much it's worth to you, because regardless of what the current price points are, these are retailers who are selling it in the outside world. So they may price it according to the price guides, but you may not be prepared to pay price guides. Some people eventually just want to get rid of something, they'll price it up, they won't know how much it is, but you have to know how much it's worth to you. A lot of time if I'm buying Game Boy games, they're only worth a couple of pounds to me, regardless of whether price guide says £30, £50, I'm only prepared to pay a couple of pounds. Most books, I'm not really prepared to pay the big cover price. I'm not necessarily looking 50%. Chances are I'm working down about a fiver, £5, and that's the price point that I'll be looking at. You have to know what your pricing level is, because chances are if you're a collector, you're looking for lots of things. Therefore, patience is a virtue. Having an absolute limit on what you're prepared to pay is really important going forward. So you have to know that. And also fundamentally, unless the item you're looking for is unique, you have to be prepared to walk away from any auction. Don't get trapped into bidding wars, right? So you have to do the research, know how much it goes for in the real world, so your expectation is there, but know how much you're prepared to pay and understand what it is, because you need to be able to spot those bargains. So next we're going to look at a couple of case studies, but whatever you're trying to do, get that in your head before you start looking.